with a new episode eventually. Some technical issues
Yeah, sorry about that.
in the last 20 minutes, but we're here with special guest Ben Gilbert,
Hello.
Spurs fan. So he's very happy today.
Yeah. No, it's been a good weekend. It's been a good season so far. Let's hope it kind of stays that way.
Would you have come on if Tottenham lost?
Yeah, I would have come on. I have no. As a lifelong Spurs fan, I'm quite used to watching Spurs lose. So, yeah, I'd have no problem. It's just nice to come on with a decent result behind us. You know, it's the first time we've beaten Liverpool in quite a while. So, yeah, no, I'll take it.
No controversy. I heard straight up.
No, it was a pretty straight cut. No issues, no drama. You know, it's nice. It's nice to get that result behind us with no kind of hassle whatsoever and no complaining either. Liverpool took it in their stride and they've not kind of had any kind of issues with it. No one's complained about it at all. So, no, it's been a nice weekend.
No petitions or anything. They said it's been good.
No one wants the game entirely replayed at all. That's a completely normal reaction to losing a game.
It's madness. We'll get into that one later. But as with our guests, 5-a-side time.
Okay. Right, so
we've had
half
Tottenham fan on here before who really, I must admit, I expected more from his team. So I want you to save Tottenham here, basically, Ben.
Okay. Right, so straight off, 3 positions, absolutely easy. There was no real thinking behind it whatsoever. Goalkeeper has to be Hugo Lloris. I know he's been a bit iffy last year, but I mean, he's a World Cup winning keeper. You know, he's been solid for 8-9 years. You know, he's just world class. He's not playing at the moment, but he's been a real kind of great player for us. And I don't think we've had a keeper in my lifetime who has been better than Lloris. So I would go Hugo Lloris, keeper. Centre back, Ledley King, all day long. Guy is a beast. I mean, he was getting into the England team without training, without playing football. He could just walk into that team. You know, that's a talent that you don't see very often. And, you know, he was just immense and a real kind of hero of the club. You know, one club player. You don't get many of those nowadays. Admittedly, you know, he kind of retired early, but, you know, absolute beast.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to jump straight to the striker because, again, it's a no-brainer. It's Harry Kane. It's Harry Kane all day long. You know, he's probably the best English striker we've had since Jimmy Greaves. You know, he's just class. No real Spurs fans, you know, kind of gutted about him leaving because, you know, he stayed with Spurs way longer than he probably should have done. He could have gone to any team in the world at any point that he wanted, and he tried to kind of get that trophy with Spurs. I feel a bit bad that we've now got a team that he would love to be a part of. You know, he's left and now we're playing beautiful attacking football and he'd be getting Haaland numbers this season if he was still here.
Goals, wouldn't he?
Oh, he would be getting some goals.
Yeah, but you know what? Just want to jump in with Harry Kane, right? Do you think that... I mean, I know that the main reason you're playing well now is because it's Ange's style and he's a positive manager. But do you think that Tottenham would be able to have as much freedom as they've got with Harry Kane in the team? Do you think he limits their creativity? Like, he puts brilliant numbers out, but do you think that having him in stops other players from being able to maybe express as much?
I think with the way that Ange plays football, I don't think it would stifle him too much. I don't think it'd be stifling anyone else either. You know, the attacking play from the wings has been phenomenal from Kulu and Son and Richarlison, whoever's kind of playing, Solomon as well. If anything, I think he would be, you know, getting even more assists, getting even more goals. We'll never know because, you know, he obviously left before.
We might do because there's a buyback clause, isn't there?
There is apparently, according to Levy, there is a buyback clause. God knows how much that would be, though. I mean, you're looking at 100 mil, and Levy is not a man who likes to spend money, so. You know, would we probably buy him back unless it's like super cheap? I can't imagine. So, so then, you know, that's 3 positions locked down. It's the midfield is where I had the problem because initially, straight away, I thought, you know, playing the Spurs way, let's get some really good attacking kind of players in. So immediately I thought Paul Gascoigne, David Ginola. I mean, just absolute magicians.
Yeah.
But then the thing is that there's been a lot of world-class midfielders come through Spurs. And then another couple kind of sprung to mind. Luka Modric, who was an absolute player and a half. He's a magician. And obviously as well, Gareth Bale, who's probably in the top 5 British footballers of the last 15 years, I would say, easily.
Easily, I think, yeah.
You know, yeah, he's unbelievable player. Just underneath that, you've got obviously Moussa Dembele, who was a real Rolls Royce of a midfielder. He was a hell of a player to watch, and Christian Eriksen as well. Great servant to the club. He was always fun to watch. So yeah, I think I'm more leaning towards Modric and Bale. Just forget about the balance as well, because I mean, if you put Ginola and Gascoigne in that side, no one's defending. You know,
Ledley
you're literally just leaving. Yeah, Ledley King. Man had no knees, and he'd be having to run all over the shop. So I think I would probably go Modric and Bale. So you've got that kind of tracking back ability, and I'd put that 5-side team against pretty much anyone in the world.
It's a hell of a team.
So that was Lloris. So it was Lloris, King, Modric,
King. Yeah, Bale.
Who's the fifth?
Harry Kane up front.
Oh, Harry Kane. Yeah. That's a lot better. I'm sorry. Who was it? It was on for Billy. I'm so sorry, but yeah, this Tottenham team definitely.
Oh yeah, that crushing. Yeah, I mean,
I've got a question for you though, Ben. I've got a Tottenham question, right? And I've just sort of thought of it as you was talking. Okay, so if one of these things could happen, but you can only have one, which would it be? Ledley King never got injured. He played a full career at Spurs, no injuries. Realised his full potential, or Gareth Bale never left Spurs. What would you rather have?
Oh! I mean, the thing is, like with Gareth Bale, God bless him, he came from that generation where they came through young. So he started like being a first team player at 18. By 30, he was done. You know, 30, 31, he was retired. Same as Rooney, same as Owen, same as Torres. You know, they broke through early and kind of just flamed out. By the time they he retired at 32.
Yeah.
He left us at 28, 29. I mean, you know, you didn't get many more years. With Ledley King, I mean, he could have gone to 35, 36. I'd probably, you know, just out of kind of Tottenham pride, I'd probably take Ledley King.
Or a non-alcoholic Gaza.
If we could have kept a non-alcoholic Gaza, what a player he would have been. Jeez, yeah. But I mean, then you don't get the dentist chair celebration. And, you know, that's one of the most iconic moments of... Exactly. That's true. You know, Gaz is a flawed genius. And would he be as loved if he wasn't so flawed?
Would he be as good if he wasn't as flawed? All the best. They're a bit crazy, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got to have kind of mentality to you, haven't you? I mean, a guy like Ronaldo, Cristiano, Ronaldo, not that Ronaldo. You know, he's so dedicated and he's so kind of career focused and football focused, and you know, he must have kind of shied away from all kind of like real life stuff that he could have done just to focus being on, you know, the world's best footballer. You know,
but I'll say something that's probably going to shock a lot of people. Probably half as talented as Paul Gascoigne was, talent-wise.
Ronaldo half as talented as Gascoigne.
Talent-wise,
it's a big shout. That was a big shout. Yeah, I mean,
there's loads that are better than Ronaldo. Like Rafael Morrison, Ferguson said he was the greatest player. He thought he was going to be the greatest player coming through Man United because he had that much talent.
Oh, gotcha.
But they just can't be bothered. They haven't got the Ronaldo mindset, so they'll never. Obviously, Gaza did make it, but not to the heights he should have done.
Oh yeah, definitely. Gaza should have been like the core of England for 15 years, but he kind of, what was it, 96, 98? He was done?
Yeah. What Gaza could do with a football and on the football field, Ronaldo could not do.
Oh, I mean, he was just different class, wasn't he? He was different gravy.
I stand by my shock.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the difference, isn't it, between natural talent and drive. And sadly, Gaza never had that drive, but the talent was there. God, yeah, that talent.
It's like the Bale Hazard situation. Hazard is so much more talented than Gareth Bale is. Gareth Bale just had this crazy mindset of I want to be the best player on the planet.
Oh, gotcha. And
Hazard used to turn up hungover. It would have been a different story. Hazard's miles better than Bale as a football player.
Yeah.
But because they've got wrong attitudes,
history is kind of written down.
Gareth Bale will go down as a better player.
Oh, definitely. You know, he's achieved so much. And Hazard's flamed out, 32? He's without a club. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. Even with all this Saudi money being thrown away, no one's gone for Eden Hazard. It just doesn't make sense to me. But you know, maybe it's a personal choice. I don't know.
Bale retired, still one of the best players in the world, which I find crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he could easily kind of picked up another club.
Any team, probably.
Yeah, you'd imagine. I mean, he could have gone to Wrexham.
Yeah,
I think they made
that rumor was going around, weren't it?
Yeah, I think they actually made a bid, and apparently he's more of a Cardiff man, so he kind of refused on moral grounds.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's more into his golf, isn't he, Gareth Bale? I think he just wanted to go play golf.
Yeah, fair play to him. I saw he was playing at the PGA the other day, like a amateur pro thing. Good for him. You know, I'm a big fan of Gareth Bale.
Madrid, isn't it? I think he said.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I love it. Fair play to him. You know, he was on crazy money, wasn't he? He was on hundreds of thousands of pounds, probably close to $1 million a week. And he didn't want to give up that money. Fair play to him. I wouldn't leave. You know, that kind of money behind.
Right, so there was Ben's five-a-side team. We'll stick that on the old social media so the other Tottenham fans can have a little go. And we will get on to last week's fixtures. So the first game, Villa-Brighton. What the fuck happened to Brighton and how good was Villa?
I mean, if there's a blueprint for beating Brighton, it was right there. I mean, Watkins absolutely wrecked them.
Destroyed him.
Yeah, I said after the first goal, that's a hat-trick. I said after the first goal I went in, I was on a group chat, I said, he's getting a hat-trick, and he did. Like Watkins just looked like on fire. He just looked right up for it.
And thank God, because my FPL did not perform this weekend, but Watkins, I think, got half my points for me.
You the only one that had him as well.
I took him out 2 weeks ago. But yeah, is that blueprint for beating Brighton? Just full-on pressure, just on him.
Yeah.
People are going to work that out.
Pressure and attacking. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if more teams kind of go at them like that from here.
Yeah. Because it was relentless. Yeah. As soon as they got the ball at the back, it was just Diaby, Watkins, fucking just relentless.
Yeah, just wave after wave. Yeah. Yeah, just kind of really kind of going at them.
Brighton had a midfield of Billy Gilmore, who I actually think is all right. I had him in my fantasy team. He gets quite a few assists, but he's all right. And the other kid, 18 years old, I think, what a game to throw him into. Like, I think that maybe Brighton, I don't know what injuries, but they had people on the bench. Like, I think maybe they didn't show Villa enough respect, and they definitely got punished for it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that they had Ansu Fati on the bench, and they didn't bring on. Like, he's a former, supposed to be like one of the best players, one of the best young football players in the world. A few years.
Another one in my dream team. They did score.
I mean, he's got a £1 billion buyout clause in his contract. You know, if you want to sign him, you've got to pay £1 billion. I think it might go a little bit cheaper now, but that's some crazy.
Chelsea will probably pay it.
Yeah, Chelsea.
I mean, they've already spent £1 billion on players. Why not double it with one? Makes sense.
So, but, they were so good. After losing 5-1 in their first game of the season, everyone thought, "Oh no, maybe not."
Yeah, no, that's definitely starting to look like the team we thought they was going to be before the season started. I think we all kind of thought they was going to be, you know, maybe not Champions League, but kind of just below it in that kind of Europa League spots. And they've really kind of turned the corner recently.
Emery just doesn't get enough credit. Like, I know that, I didn't really like him for the Arsenal job. Like, I did think it was right to sack him, but he completely done De Zerbi. Like, everyone goes on about De Zerbi linking him with Real Madrid and everything. He completely done him for tactics. Like, absolutely just outdone him. Like, in that first half, it was over.
Yeah, I mean, they just blew him out the water. Just really kind of... Yeah, I've not seen Brighton kind of get that much of a hammering.
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, no.
Expect it. Right, next one. We'll let Andrew talk about this one. Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 0.
Yeah, this was the first game of the season that I've watched Arsenal in where I was just relaxed the whole way through. Like the amount of times that we've had to hold on to like a 1-goal lead, or we've been pushing for a winner up until like the 80th, 90th minute. This was comfortable from the start to the end. The away fans, I want to give a shout out to the away fans because that was the loudest I've seen an away end. Like it was ridiculous. It was absolutely bouncing like the whole way through. You couldn't even hear. I know it's only a small stadium. You couldn't even hear the Bournemouth fans at all. It was mental. It was really, really good. Really happy for Kai Havertz to score. They obviously gave him the penalty, so he wasn't great in that game, to be honest. But yeah, I think.
Can I just say quickly that's an embarrassment.
Well, they gave Havertz a penalty.
That's an embarrassment. Right, you're
it's like a consolation prize.
You are so bad, but please take this penalty and score. If he had missed that, his Arsenal career is looking in the pan already.
Yeah,
big old risk.
And
I just think it's embarrassing. I would have just said, "No, mate, you take it. I'll score by myself." Like, to give him, please score, Havertz, please.
He just needed something to give him some. He just needed something to give him some confidence, didn't he?
Yeah, but even still, I mean, it's a bit.
Did you hear the Havertz song? Did you hear what it is? I don't know what I think about it. I like it's a
reboot. Yeah.
60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scored again. I'm just like, I know it's like meant as you're saying we've spent flushed it down the toilet, but he's scoring or whatever. But it just don't sound like that. Just think
at the moment, because it's true at the moment. It's like, the song's coming to life.
It was a bit weird. I mean, it was a really good atmosphere. The crowd were really like cheering it, but it just sounded really like. But it was a decent performance from Arsenal. Bournemouth didn't offer anything. Like Raya's keeping these clean sheets, but he's not having to make a save. Like Gabriel and Saliba are just unreal. Like they're just such good defenders. But yeah, it was nice and comfortable for me. There's not really much to say. Bournemouth didn't offer anything.
I thought it was a bit of a lucky result for you. I think the scoreline flattered you. There's some controversial plays in there. It's once again, luck. Arsenal get a little bit of luck, and I think in the repeat fixture, Bournemouth will shout out true class and turn you over.
At least six or seven, maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, you look at that. You would look at that and think, that's fair. That is fair. Nice little Kluivert hat trick.
He was. I reckon he will be good, but I reckon he'll be good. That Kluivert, he looked okay. He won't get much change out of the Arsenal defense. Yeah, I reckon he'll pick up some form.
He ain't his dad, that's for sure.
No,
what a striker.
Yeah, what a player. Right, next one. I just have to say sorry to the Luton fans for this one. Because I've said on the last 3 or 4 shows that they won't win a game. I put that on TikTok, right? And 2 people commented saying, when do they play Everton? This was like a few weeks back as well.
I mean, Everton had looked all right in a couple of weeks.
Everton is so shit.
They're awful. I'd be shocked if Sean Dyche is still in the job in the next couple of weeks. Like the guy. And I like the fact that he knows how to play Arsenal. But yeah, I don't see him being in that job for much longer. If you're losing to Luton, didn't they drop points to Sheffield United as well?
They did. Just draw.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
I think bringing Big Sam, to be honest, it's early enough in the season. Like he keeps getting these jobs after Christmas where he can't do anything. Bringing Big Sam, it will save Everton.
I don't think they can afford to do anything, can they? Apart from just sit on what they've got at the moment.
I've got this buyout coming, allegedly. We'll see how that kind of works out. Maybe they can afford Big Sam. I don't know what Neil Warnock's up to nowadays. Maybe they can get him in. Harry's always willing to take a job. There's plenty of people who can potentially fix Everton.
Will Everton be a championship team next season?
The problem is there's a lot of terrible teams in that bottom 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real kind of struggle to get yourself relegated against some of those guys. Luton are awful.
I think they will. I think they'll go down. I didn't think they'll go down, but I do now.
I didn't think they would, but if you're losing to Luton 2-1 at home at Goodison Park, you don't deserve to be in the Premier League, to be honest. Luton are piss poor Championship side. They're an average Championship side. They're not a Premier League team. They're not even a top half Championship.
So Luton are the first promoted team to win this season. They've managed to win before Burnley and Sheffield United.
Yep.
I mean, Burnley have looked
pretty mad,
pretty ropey in every game. I mean, Sheffield United. I mean, you watched that Newcastle game last week, I'm sure. I mean, they are not.
Billy turned it off after 2-0.
No,
I don't know what you mean. Sheffield United played last week. Right, yes, that was the Luton one. I really hope they do stay up. I can't see it at all.
It's a nice story as well, isn't it? And it's a nice ground to see in the Premier League. I love the aesthetics of it.
But the next one is Man United 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Oh, did you see the goal?
Go first.
Absolute banger. Absolute banger of a goal. And I'm enjoying Man United being, the banter team of the Premier League at the moment. It's fun. It makes a nice change than laughing at Chelsea to have Man United there as well. And they just don't look. They didn't look like they was going to win that Crystal Palace game at all. That apart from Højlund, who looks like he might be a bit of a player, I don't see any class in that side. I like him. I like that Højlund. I think he'll be a class.
I think he'll be a good player. What we think about Rashford, because there was a lot of fans. Normally, Rashford comes off, people like the fans boo. There was a few cheers, a couple of boos, but it was 50-50. He was terrible, poor.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game.
No end product.
Do you think it's a Rashford problem, or do you think it's a Ten Hag problem?
I don't like Ten Hag. I think he's a terrible manager, and I think he should be out of the job. He's not good, but
good job, Evan.
But you still like Rashford is supposed to be Man United, isn't he? Like he's supposed to be their best player, their saviour, their Mbappe. That people were comparing him to a couple of years ago.
I think that's a big shout. Very big shout.
Good. I don't think he's any good.
I mean, he's class when he wants to be, but I'm not seeing him fitting into this Man United side at the moment. It's just not clicking, and I don't know if it's just that the players don't want to play for Ten Hag anymore. I imagine that it probably has something to do with that. But
they've turned 100%. They've turned in.
Oh yeah. No, you can tell.
Do you think that's because of what happened with Jadon Sancho? Do you think that some people have said, "Hang on a minute"? They're in training with Jadon Sancho. Like they know if he's training well or not. Like they're there. If they think he's, hang on a minute, Ten Hag's out of order here for saying that when he's actually training all right.
I mean, it's a distinct possibility. I mean, it could be the Sancho thing. It could be going back to the Ronaldo thing, or it could just be the way he manages, because he does seem to fall out with, players on a somewhat regular basis, and those kind of managers don't seem to kind of prosper nowadays. That's why Mourinho seems to get sacked on a regular basis. You can't have that kind of players nowadays who've got so much power in the game. You've got to mollycoddle them more than kind of.
His man management's terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
He's got no management skills whatsoever. Like, what he done to Sancho, it doesn't matter if you play bad in training. You don't come out and do that. You don't come out and blatantly say it. You have a word with him, and you get him to train on his own or whatever, and you tell him, sort yourself out. You don't come out in front of millions and millions of people and basically say the bloke's shit. He doesn't train properly, and he ain't playing. Yeah, no,
it's poor form. I'm not a fan of coming out and openly slagging off your own players. It's. I know those kind of reports of the same kind of attitude at Borussia as well, but still, it's something that should really be behind closed doors.
Wasn't he off? Didn't he have time off because of his sort of mental health and things like that? Like, fancy saying that to a player that's been off with mental health, like announce to the world that he's struggling or whatever. That's just not.
Yeah, it's not recommended, is it? It's not a good look.
One thing I will say about Man United though is, like, I know everyone has injuries, but they must be like the unluckiest team with their defence, because like they brought in Reguilon because Shaw and Malacia are both out. Now Reguilon's injured. Like they're literally. I didn't watch any of the United game over the weekend, but their back four must have been Evans, Maguire, Dalot. I don't even know who else they've got. Like they've literally got no one.
Good.
They should be beating Crystal Palace, though. It doesn't matter.
I mean, they're beating 3-0.
Their second string out.
Yeah. I mean, taking nothing away from Palace, they were well organised. I mean, they got lucky on a couple of occasions. But, it was a hell of a goal. I don't know if you saw that, Anderson. Absolute banger.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, real.
I do rate him, though, Anderson. I like him. He's got a good thing on him.
He's solid. He's solid.
So Man United's defence was Dalot at right back. I quite like Dalot. Varane, Lindelof, and Amrabat.
Oh, that's Amrabat left back, but Varane, I didn't realise he was back.
So it's not terrible. Then Casemiro, Mount, Bruno, Højlund, Rashford. They should be beating Palace.
What's with the Bruno hype? The Bruno hype. Like, I know we talk about Rashford. I'm not a massive fan of him. I think he's good in moments. Like, he's capable of scoring a good goal. Scored a good volley the other week. But he's another one that just, if it's not going well for the team, he don't really, like, he's captain now, isn't he? He doesn't strike me as someone that's like, right, let's get back into this game. Like, he's not like that.
You couldn't get a more different captain from Bruno to Roy Keane. I mean, Roy Keane would not be kind of suffering these performances. It makes you wonder: is there a lack of leadership in the side? Is there, maybe you'd think Rashford would be the one stepping up and kind of taking charge, or Harry Maguire.
Everything Ronaldo said in that interview is coming true.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
he
knew what was coming.
That's a man that knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, he saw the writing on the wall long ago.
But so the next two routine wins, we can talk about it for a bit if you want. But Newcastle 2, Burnley 0, and West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. The West Ham one as well. Routine wins that they both expected to win them.
Yeah,
they did quite comfortably.
Nothing really surprised me. Jared Bowen's having a pretty good season. He's popping up with fair few goals. West Ham looked good. West Ham looked like a decent side. I think they bought really well in the summer. They signed some really good kind of players.
Took them some time. I didn't think they were gonna. I thought they looked like they were gonna go into the season without spending any of the Rice money. But then they signed like 2 or 3 players last weekend before the winter season started, and they were up and running really well.
As well, brilliant.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that Kudus. I think he'll be a real class player in the future. And who's the defensive midfielder they signed from Ajax?
Alvarez.
I can't remember.
Fernandez.
Alvarez.
Oh, was it Alvarez? Sorry, Alvarez.
Yeah. He looks like he'll be a decent little player. Yeah.
I tell you what, all they need now is that proven goal scorer. I think they'll be pushing for that top 7 most seasons.
Yeah.
If they had that proven goal scorer, get them 20 a season.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to get those proven goal scorers without spending 70, 80 million nowadays.
Yeah.
Who realistically could West Ham sign who's a proven goal scorer?
I know they went in for I can't even remember his name, and it's really bad. The Arsenal guy that left.
Balogun. Balogun?
Yeah, that's not. I just couldn't think of his name. Balogun. Yeah. I knew they went in for him. But
did you say Balogun was going to be like the next top England striker like last season? I seem to remember.
No, what I said was what I said was that because he was
torn between, as always.
He was torn between choosing England and America to play for internationally, and I just said get him in the team just so that he commits to England, and then we've got him as an option. But I think we're right. I don't think he's he's not bad at all, but he needs regular game time for like a few seasons, and we just can't get it with Arsenal.
Well, he's in the Farmers League now, so hopefully he'll kind of get his confidence up and do really well for England reserves or something.
Well, he sided with America in the end, so he's a US international.
Okay. But he will be missed.
Next one, shock result of the weekends. City lost.
This was a great weekend for me.
I mean, Wolves looked pretty decent. That Hwang, who scored the goal, he looks like a decent little player. I've not really caught him before, but him and Neto, like kind of really.
That Neto looks real good.
Oh, he's primed for a big time move. I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing on the other side of that fixture.
We've been linked with him.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, but he'll probably go to a big side like City.
Did you hear what Pep said about the Matthias Nunes that he signed?
I was going to bring this up.
He said, I thought he was world class, but I was wrong. He said that. That's his actual quote. He said, I thought he was a world class. I thought he was one of the best in the world. I was wrong. He's not. He did say, I'll get him there, but it's not great, is it?
He comes out. Did you hear what he said about that Hwang? He said about that Hwang. He just called him that Korean guy in an interview.
Yeah, I did see that, and I did enjoy the fact that he scored.
He did a video on it as well. He replied to it on a video and did like a thing on the Wolves channel. It was quite funny actually. It was a good bit banter.
But word on City, you
love to see it.
I thought they looked a bit tired. They looked a bit out of ideas. Kevin De Bruyne is such a big loss. Like I know that Alvarez, Foden are in the sides and they're playing well, but they missed that. Obviously, Rodri is a huge miss. Probably the biggest
John
miss
Stones
out of everyone.
as well.
If Haaland's injured,
Rodri,
Alvarez will score goals. If De Bruyne's injured, Foden or Alvarez. If Rodri's out, there's no one to replace him. He's so good. There's just no one else that can do that.
I do think that John Stones could step in there, but he's out as well. Right? As if you had to have anyone take his place, but yeah, he's out too.
Yeah, I just thought they looked a bit out of ideas, a bit tired.
Yeah, they definitely looked a little bit leggy. When did they play? Wednesday. Lost to Newcastle and then played on a Saturday and lost to Wolves. It's not been a good week. Yeah.
Then I fancy your chances, Andrew. I fancy your chances.
Good time to play them. We've got our players coming back as well. Declan's back. They're all coming back. So I think that this is a good time to play them. If we can't beat them now without De Bruyne, without Rodri, like if we can't beat them now, then we might as well just hang up and go on because I
don't know. They're going to have a big performance next week. They've got to kind of step up a bit and show their mettle. And I'd be on the opposite side of that. I wouldn't want to play them next week because I can see them in a reaction.
Pep won't let him play
Pep's not going to stand for. Yeah, Pep is not going to stand for like kind of those two kind of performances 2 in a row. No, there's going to be some sort of
Champions League. I hope that comes out in the Champions League then. I don't actually know who they've got. They had an easy group, so it's going to be no one particularly hard.
Yeah, they might have arrested a few. Calvin Phillips played probably, wouldn't he?
We're away in France. So, yeah.
The next game was not much happened in it. Spurs 2, Liverpool 1. Your takes away on this one, Ben?
I don't see anything wrong with this result. I think it was a fair result in the end. Referee had some tough decisions to make, but I think he kind of erred on the side of caution, and I think he made the right choices time and time again. I mean, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because I'll be honest, there were some poor decisions in that game. The Luis Diaz goal should have probably stood. It seems to be some sort of massive mistake on VAR.
I said it on a group chat thingy on WhatsApp. Like as soon as he scored, I was like, "Is it just me, or is he well on site?" Like he doesn't even look offside. If you're a linesman, I don't understand how he's called it offside. He's nowhere near offside.
I couldn't speak to what I was seeing, but all I know is that it worked out pretty well in the end. But yeah, the Jota sending off, I think the first yellow was a bit harsh.
A bit harsh, a little bit.
A bit harsh. He might have blown on him a little bit and kind of Udogi's gone down.
But
second
that
yellow,
one, the first yellow card, the Jota one, there is no, like VAR don't check them today for bookings, I don't think.
No.
So ref has made a mistake. In real time, it did look like he clipped him.
Yeah.
It's only when you see it back and he's about 2 foot away from him.
On a normal day, you probably wouldn't have that conversation, but because obviously they had all of the decisions down against them, I can see why they were kind of whining.
For Jota to do the second one was just stupid.
It was mindless. Yeah. It was a silly kind of, we've all played football, I'm sure. Sometimes you just get that red mist and it kind of happens and you can't stop yourself. I've done it plenty of times myself. But yeah, so it was a silly second yellow. Curtis Jones won. I mean, I don't see how the ref can't give that.
It's either way, I think.
The photos they kind of showed, the stills, I mean, it did look bad. And Basuma was down for a while.
Yeah.
But it's going to be given, still, isn't it? It's what I was talking about last week with Rodri with the hands around the neck. It looks a lot worse when it's slowed down. It looks like he's gone for it. He's gone over the
definitely.
Ball,
it's
on the shins.
Yeah. I mean, if he was like a couple of inches back, he would have got the ball and it would have been a non-issue. But that's the thing with VAR. I mean, they got these angles, and that angle looked incredibly bad. So off he goes. I mean, I don't think there's any you can really complain too much about that one. And then I mean, from there, again, I think Alisson had a fantastic game in Liverpool's kind of. He pulled off some absolute worldies. The one he saved from Maddison was an absolute save and a half. He had pulled off another world-class save against Son as well. And then obviously playing against 9 men, they took off their entire front line and just put on defenders and holding midfielders. So it was always going to be hard to kind of break them down. It can't have been easy when you're playing against 9 people in the box, it's going to be a struggle to score.
Yeah.
And then you've got to feel for, what's his name? Was it Jotip?
Matip, wasn't it?
It was Matip.
Matip, yeah. You got to feel. It's a hard goal to give away. But in the end, we kind of deserved it, and I'm sure, like by the end of the season, we'll kind of get our comeuppance, and VAR will kind of screw us over.
I'm all up for getting rid of the thing. To be honest, I can deal with human error, and I can be like, well, right, fair enough, it's not right, but a human has made that mistake. That's fine. For a computer,
just VAR was a human error because he kind of said the completely wrong thing, didn't he? He wasn't concentrating or something, and just
with the offside, they didn't even check it, did they? I've read somewhere that they thought that they hadn't given it. That they had give the goal.
Yeah, he literally just press complete. We're all done. Didn't check it. Didn't draw the lines.
It was fine.
Yeah,
which is just mad.
What do you think of that?
The VAR guy and the assistant VAR guy were in Dubai, I think, or Saudi or somewhere, literally 24 hours before doing a game. They've had to fly back. That's 8, 9, 10 hours to thingy. And then they've jumped straight in there. That shouldn't be happening.
Big game as well.
Yeah,
it should be happening.
There's
two things. There's two things I want to say. Two main things I want to say on this game. First of all, I want the referees to apologise to me for my FPL points I lost for having Luis Diaz.
I know,
because that annoyed me.
It was a fine decision.
Secondly, I heard that the referee that was refereeing that game has been taken off for next week, but it wasn't his fault. Like, it was the VAR.
No,
I don't get how
the ref's okay. I think it's the 2 VAR guys got taken off.
Oh,
yeah, maybe I heard it wrong. But yeah,
they were supposed to do a game on Sunday, I think, or something, and they got taken off of that.
But surely the Premier League should be looking at that, thinking, "Oh, they've just worked yesterday in Dubai. Why are we getting them to do this massive game of football after a 10-hour flight?
Crazy.
Probably a few hours sleep, and then they're going to go straight back into it."
Why are the English refs kind of working in Dubai in the first place? I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But no, I can't complain too much.
The whole lot.
That's fair. What do you think of Liverpool fans' reactions? And
I mean, it's much.
It's a lot, isn't it?
I get it that they're angry, but literally a petition to get the game again and things like that. Like,
yeah,
I didn't see the petition, but I did see the Liverpool put out a statement in response to the referee statement. Have you seen that? Like, Liverpool actually put out a statement saying they're going to look at like legal action and whatever because
it's embarrassing.
Like, you just have to deal with it because then everyone's at it. Like, everyone's can name a time where like they've had to be apologised to by the referees because they've got it wrong. Like, Liverpool are making such a thing out of it.
Exactly. It all comes up.
Andrew first. Scrap VAR, or you want to keep it?
I don't like it. I'd scrap it. I'd rather the mistakes. Get them anyway.
Ben?
I think it should stay. I just think it needs refining. It needs to be more like how rugby use it, how kind of tennis use it, where it's instantaneous and there's no real debate about it. It just seems to be slowing everything down at the moment. So it's a good idea, and we should be using technology properly. But they just need to work on it a bit more and get it working.
But goal line technology is good. Like when the watch beeps, when the ball goes over the line, that works absolutely fine. No issues with that. But
how are they getting offside wrong still? It is a line that fucking tells you if he's onside or he's offside. How do they get?
Because they ain't drawing it. They're not even drawing the line.
Yeah, they didn't bother drawing it. They're just like, oh yeah, no, sure, goals allowed, fine, whatever.
Look, we don't have VAR where I'm from, right down in the Championship.
The Championship.
And it just goes nicely, right? You get some decisions go against you, you get some for you. You're unhappy one week, you're happy the week after. You can, I'm just done with it because it's a human error. I'm happy.
Those games where the referee
something 12 times and then they're going, "Oh no, it's not a penalty," but it is a penalty. You've just looked at it 12 times, you're still telling me it's not a penalty. Stevie Wonder could see it's a penalty. What? I don't understand.
It's like back in the day where like referees were like making decisions and like the fans were getting on their back, the referees were calling him a wanker and whatever. That was all. It was just part of the game, right? But now the people that are making the decisions aren't even on the field, so the fans are just a bit like, well, we can't really. I mean, they do, but we can't really ever go at this guy because it's VAR that make, like it's just not the same. It's just you don't get that. I miss when they were throwing apples and whatever else at the referees as they were walking into the tunnel. Like they don't get that anymore because it's not them making the decisions.
Yeah, I get that, and it is frustrating. Unless it happens, it kind of falls in your direction like it has for us this weekend. But I think by the end of the season it'll all wash out, and you'll get your good decisions, you'll get your bad decisions. It just needs fixing. It's not working properly at the moment, but I've got full faith in the FA that they will get it right within the next 15 to 20 years.
I still don't think half of them know the rules either. Like, there's a handball one week, next week exactly the same things happen. It's not a handball.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's the Man United and the Arsenal handballs, or the Spurs handballs, the other week where one was given, one wasn't. There's no consistency at the moment, and as soon as they kind of sell it up to Skynet or whatever, some sort of AI company, and kind of cut, these fourth officials out completely, I think it'll probably work a lot better.
Yeah, something's got to be done about it. There's just no consistency whatsoever with it, and that's the whole point. It should be consistent, and it should be factual.
Well, it's again with the. I know Udogie probably should have got a red card. He was when he got fouled the second time by Jota. He kind of put the card up, which is apparently automatic yellow card nowadays. I've seen it given like the other weeks. This weekend it wasn't given. There's no consistency whatsoever, is there?
No.
It was like in the first week of the season, people were getting booked for kicking the ball away for like kicking it 2 yards. It's not happened since.
Yeah,
players are still doing it. They're not booking him anymore.
They've got to kind of stick to their convictions with this time wasting stuff, and just keep at it.
That's one thing I am happy about. That rule coming in, I'm happy about. If someone kicks the ball away, yellow card. Kicks it away, get a red card. Take too long for a throw in. Booking, take to another goal kick. Booking.
I mean, we will win to games, spent 50, 60 quid getting up to watch a game, and then you're playing someone like a Hull or someone like that, and they just kind of waste the entire game for you, and it's a lot of money to be spending watching people not play football.
Yeah.
Anything that could improve that and stop that kind of stuff, I'm all for.
Yeah, definitely.
A quick word on Tottenham. I think you've looked really good this season. I think Ange is doing such a good job. He's such a likeable guy. I really want him to do well, and I don't support Tottenham. And I will say, Richarlison, people were slagging me off at the beginning of the season because I said he's going to have a good year. I had Tottenham fans tell me he's dog shit. He was so good yesterday.
Yeah, no, he was good. He's solid. You can tell he wants to play. He wants to get the ball. He wants to kind of attack. He put in an amazing ball that Kudveski couldn't get to. And he just looks dangerous. As Spurs on a whole, Angie Ball is amazing. We all love Postecoglou. If you had told me 6 months ago that we would lose Harry Kane, we wouldn't buy a replacement with sack Conte and would get the Celtic manager in charge, who has never kind of played, had any experience in, real football. And would have been
and that you would have
incredibly
played
fearful.
Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool all in the first 7 games and still be undefeated.
Yeah, 7 points out of those 3 games. I mean, I'll take that all day long. I mean, it's an amazing.
You lose all them games, don't you? Like, if you're honest, season, you lose all of them.
You know, we have lost those 2 big games. We probably would have drawn with Arsenal. But yeah, he's playing really good, nice attacking football. There's a real air of excitement around Spurs, which we haven't had in a while. You know, going back to Conte, Mourinho, they didn't play football the Spurs way, which made, you know, we kind of got on our backs a bit more. You know, we weren't enjoying watching, you know, those kind of performances. And it's just nice having that optimism when you're watching Spurs and we're going to attack and we're going to, you know, I don't know if you guys saw that Burnley game where we put 5 past them and they were all just world-class goals. Every single one of them was just an absolute reach. Madison is probably the signing of the season. I mean, he has transformed Spurs. I mean, he's such an enjoyable footballer to watch, you know, and he's just got a personality that's just infectious, you know. I enjoyed him kind of ribbing old Saka after the Arsenal game.
I enjoyed that as well, a bit about that.
Yeah. It's good. It's a nice little back and forth. I enjoyed that. But yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun to be a Spurs fan again, and it's really enjoyable. And long may it continue. You know?
Basuma what happened is who Chelsea just thought they'd signed in Casado.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. The difference between him this season and last season is unbelievable. You know, there's been some real kind of step ups in quality. I remember Andrew last season said that Pedro Porro was the worst signing of the year. That is kind of I mean, this season he's probably one of the best attacking defenders in the league. I mean, he is you know, different class. Him and Udogie on the other side, just top class.
I'm really impressed with Udogie.
Big fan.
I'm interested to see what we buy in the January transfer window. I think we need some more cover at back. I think we need another centre back just in case Van de Ven or Romero kind of get in.
I hear Maguire's available.
I wouldn't mind Maguire as a backup defender. I think he's fine. I think he'll do a job. I wouldn't want him starting every week, but as a backup, I would be fine with it. I think we do need to probably have another centre forward as well. It all depends on Levy and on what he sees, what he's going to spend, or what he's willing to do for the club. I would very much like us to have a little look at Omishan. I think it's a bit optimistic to be looking at him, but he's a very unhappy player right now.
I think
he would fit this side very, very well. You know, Ivan Toney as well will be another guy. But as I was saying earlier about the West Ham situation, where they need a world-class striker, there's just not many around, and you're going to be spending a lot of money to get one.
Oh, yeah, spend 100 mil now, didn't you, for a 25 goal striker, a league striker? It's 100 mil straight away.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, you need to spend and spend big, especially for a proven talent like Omishan or Toney. So we'll kind of see. Hopefully Chelsea don't decide that they're going to spend 400 million on either of those two. And we'll see. But yeah, it's nice to be a Spurs. Everyone needs to say,
right, I'm probably getting way ahead of ourselves here, and I don't believe you're going to win the league at all. But imagine, right, how would Harry Kane feel if he leaves because he wants to win a trophy, right? He wins a German league with Bayern Munich, which they've done for the last, how many years now? 20 odd years, whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Going on. And Tottenham go and win a league or an FA Cup or something like that. Be amazing, surely he'd be fuming with himself.
I'd be gutted. He'd be heartbroken. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to win something. It really would.
Especially if Munich don't win the league.
Jesus,
they've already lost one cup, haven't they? They already lost the German Cup final, didn't they, to Leipzig?
Yeah,
they didn't win the league, and fucking Tottenham done a fucking Leicester.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know, fingers crossed.
Who would have thought that after 7-8 games in, that Arsenal and Tottenham, the two North London clubs, would be the two unbeaten teams left in the league?
You know what's mad as well? Same amount of wins, same amount of draws, same amount of losses, same amount of goal difference and points.
Yeah,
How?
I mean,
outside
a lot of people.
How does that work? They scored more goals.
Yes, yeah, they've scored more goals. They got more for you. Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought Arsenal were going to blow us away again this season, and it's not looking that way at the moment. I mean, we're definitely overperforming.
It was a really frustrating game, right? Because I thought, me and Barron both thought, what was going to happen is that Tottenham were going to come out and attack us because their fans wouldn't let them sit back against Arsenal, and we were just going to absolutely roll you over. And you did come out and attack us, but it was really awkward for us to do anything. Like, it was really, I didn't enjoy watching it. It weren't a fun game for me to watch. So like, Tottenham did really well. Like they played their way, but they were also stopped us from playing at the same time. Like, it was really good Tottenham performance, actually.
Yeah, no, it was a solid Spurs performance. It was a good game. You know, it could have easily gone either way. But yeah, we'll turn you over when you come to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Looking forward to that.
Fighting words. Right, get on to the last game, which was Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. It was a boring game.
I watched this game. I can't remember anything about it.
So bad. I was watching it. I didn't even see the guy get sent off. I was like just phased out.
Yeah.
At one point, it was Forest are down to 10 men. I was watching the game. I was like, are they?
Good result for them.
So Chris Morris.
I think Forest actually look quite good, and I think Brentford, it's going to be tough for them. I don't think they'll go down because, like we said earlier, there's a few real bad teams in it. I think they'll be safe, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near that, like where they've been in the last couple of years.
Games. Yeah, just drawing.
Yeah, I mean, they're a tough side to break down. I don't think they'll be anywhere near the relegation zone. As we've said before, there's way too many terrible teams in the league for them to get sucked into that. But I see them being in a Crystal Palace kind of situation where they're not really challenging for anything. They're just kind of stuck around that 12th, 13th spot. Not really.
1 win in 7
anything
for Brentford.
It's not good form. Do you see that a lot changing if Tony comes back, or?
I don't think he'll play for him again. I hope he does. I think he should, because they have stuck by him massively through this.
Yeah.
And I think he owes them to the end of the season at least. Otherwise, whoever's buying him is buying him a bit of a fucking snake, because they have stuck with him massively, and he owes them that.
Yeah.
He owes them this half a season.
That's the thing, though. It's football, isn't it? You can never trust a footballer nowadays. I learned that mistake with old Sol Campbell. Never trust the thing that a player says.
Yeah, that was many years ago now. You're just definitely holding on to that.
Never forget.
Tony owes them half a season.
I mean, it depends. Maybe they'll want to cash in on him. Maybe they'll want that 70-80 mil. That's big money for a Brentford.
They'll get it in the summer anyway.
Yeah.
When he comes back, he should give him this half a season. If he doesn't, I think the guy's a bit of a prick, because they've stuck with him massively through this.
Did you see his interview where he said about wanting to join another club, and he was talking about his next?
Yeah, and then he listed. He was like, "What was it? I was an Arsenal fan when I was a kid, but also like Liverpool and Man United were right as well." He's a bit of a knob anyway.
He's just top. He's just.
I hope he does, because he owes him it, but I don't see him playing for them again.
Never trust someone who says they support more than one side. Disgusting.
Ball back. Or bets on his own team to lose.
Well, that too.
And the game that's going on as we're speaking is actually 2-0 to Chelsea, and Mudryk has scored.
Yeah, I saw the guy on behind me. I glanced at it.
Wow.
Brozier scored the second.
Yeah, play them.
Yeah. They're up for that first win of the... No, is it second win of the season?
Yeah, they beat Luton.
Oh, big game.
Yeah.
Right, so that was all the talking points and the fixtures last week. So it is time for a little... So it's because it's Man City and Arsenal next week, I'm going to do a bit of this or that. I'm just going to say 2 words, and you two are going to pick one. We can talk about a couple, we'll go past a couple, but the first one is the Etihad or the Emirates?
Etihad.
Etihad is a library. Etihad is a library. Emirates all day. Emirates all day.
Really, from an Arsenal fan who obviously went to Highbury back in the day. That's a big shout.
Emirates all day. Like, Highbury was a small stadium, but the Etihad is just. The most atmosphere there is at the Etihad is when they're booing the Champions League anthem.
No, I
What's
don't
the most
agree with that
atmosphere
at all.
over here from the City fans?
I don't agree with that at all. Loads of people say that it's a library. It's a library. It's never. I've watched City quite regularly because I love watching them play. It's never quiet. I don't get where this thing comes from because they've got maybe 1,000 or 2 seats empty. It's never quiet ever. I think they generate quite a good atmosphere there. I don't get this whole myth where it's quiet. I don't understand that.
No, I've always atmosphere there is quite good.
Have they even got any like when we listen into games and you hear like the songs and all of that and the chants? Like I'd never hear any at City. Like I never hear any coming from the crowd. Like even when you watch like Crystal Palace, for example. I mean,
do you play it on mute?
I never hear them. I honestly can never hear them.
Unmute it
with City. It's definitely unmuted. Like with City, I just never hear it, and I don't know.
They have I think they've got probably the greatest, one of the greatest football anthems in the Premier League. With their
blue moon. They've got they've got an anthem and that, but like when the game's actually on and the players are playing, with City, they cheer and that when they score, but when they're not doing anything,
most teams do. To be fair,
no, I think you're mesmerised by the actual football. You're mesmerised by the football and you're not listening to the atmosphere. They have a good atmosphere at the Etihad. I think they do.
Yeah,
for me, it's the Emirates. That's me. That's where I'm going. Not the Etihad.
And as I'm jumping in, I will go with the Emirates as well for atmosphere. Sorry, Ben. But I do think the Etihad thing's a myth and it's not actually that quiet at all. Second one, to be interesting. Arsene Wenger or Pep?
Pep. He's just win. He's a winner, isn't he? He goes everywhere, and he's a proven winner. Wenger, got lucky with a few decent players. I think a lot of his career kind of came down to luck. Yeah,
came down to luck. He changed English football, like the diets and all of that. Like you got Tony Adams off the booze. Like he done a lot for English football. Arsene Wenger. He did a lot. He did a lot for English football. He completely changed it. But saying that, for me, Pep, I take Pep over Alex Ferguson. Pep is
I don't think there's anything Arsene Wenger did that Sam Allardyce couldn't have done with the same squad of players.
Sam Allardyce could have gone unbeaten, and it would have all been draws. He moaned about the Invincibles draws. There'd be like 38 draws.
I mean, they wouldn't have won the league with that, but
No, they wouldn't have won the league.
So both gone Pep for that one.
I've gone Pep.
Yeah, I think we both agreed on Pep.
The greatest manager.
Yeah.
Ever,
Barron ain't gonna be happy with you, Andrew.
I've said before, like, when we did a combined Arsenal, City, and United 11, I went with Pep. So I can't change my mind now and go with Arsene Wenger. I think Pep's the greatest manager ever.
Right, next one. Henry or Aguero?
Henry.
Aguero. I mean, he's responsible for one of the greatest Premier League moments of all time. That goal was unbelievable. And his goals to game ratio. I mean, he's he's one of the best strikers the Premier League's ever seen.
He is one of the best strikers that the Premier League's ever seen. Henry is the best striker.
Henry was okay. He was all right in an average Arsenal side.
Can I just ask Andrew quickly, what makes Henry the greatest striker in the Premier League? You just said he's the best striker that's ever played in the Premier League.
He's the greatest player that's ever played in the Premier League. I know it's a striker, but he's the greatest player that's ever played in the Premier League. He is the greatest player. He's the greatest player I've ever seen play football. Like he is, hands down for me. Like I know people like Ronaldo. I didn't watch him play because I started watching football in 2002.
You think Cristiano Ronaldo? Cristiano Ronaldo, Zinedine Zidane.
Okay, I meant live when I said play football. Like
I think Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi are both alive still.
No, I've gone and fuck off. No, for me, Henry is the greatest footballer that I've ever watched play. Like I've gone to a stadium and watched it. Like he's something else. Like
he was all right.
Messi and Ronaldo are the best players of all time. He was David Ginola. I never watched David Ginola.
Yeah, it was no Ginola. He was okay.
One time.
So we've got an Henry and an Aguero on that one.
Henry all day.
For what it's worth, Aguero's the best striker. Henry's the better player, in my opinion.
Oh, that fence has got to be a bit itchy that you're sitting on there.
But when you say, when you say the best striker, right? Like, I would say Aguero's the better goal scorer. If that's
a striker.
No, it's not, because you don't take into account the assists.
It is a striker. You say this so many times. A striker.
I feel like we've had this debate more than once.
Goals.
Striker
score goals.
No.
So when you are saying because Dennis Bergkamp didn't score those many amount of goals, that he wasn't a good striker because he didn't score those goals.
Yeah, he's not up there with the best.
I don't think he's a particularly good player anyway. I mean,
Dennis Bergkamp is one of the best technical players ever. One of the best.
He was all right.
He's not one of the best strikers who ever played in the Premier League. Strikers score goals.
He's not one of the best goal scorers.
He's one of the best players. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I like Bergkamp. Big fan.
For me, yes, goals are important, but goal involvement is what you want your players up front to be doing.
Right, how many assists did Dennis Bergkamp get in his career?
I don't know. Doesn't yet.
How many planes did he get on?
You can't argue for a player, then not know what.
Well, I didn't know what the question was going to be, did I? Before you bloody come up with it, like I was psychic.
You just said he's one of the best strikers.
Dennis Bergkamp, I said he's one of the most technically. That is a lot of assists.
He was in the Premier League his whole life.
He wasn't. Started Ajax.
And when did he join?
I think he played
Arsenal? How many years was he at Arsenal?
Yeah, I think he came from Inter actually. Yeah,
he was well into
his 20s when he come to Arsenal.
He's nowhere near the striker of Aguero, Rooney, Henry.
No, he's not. But all I'm saying is that you can't. Oh, he's better than fucking Drogba. I'll sneak that one in.
No, not even close. No, Drogba.
Oh, Dennis Bergkamp is better than Didier Drogba. That's insane. That's an insane take.
I don't see it.
I hate you playing with Drogba. He was a great striker, but yeah, nowhere near Bergkamp.
Anyway, next one. The Invincible season or City's treble-winning season? I could have gone for the Centurions. Could have gone with either of them, to be honest.
It's obviously the treble-winning side. You know, they won everything apart from the League Cup, but who really cares about it? There's a lot of draws in that Invincible side. I mean, it wasn't.
It is right. I'm agreeing with the treble winning side. Like, if you win a treble, yeah, like 100%. But you know what? This City side, right? They've just won a treble. They're the best side that we've had in a long time in the world. Like, they're clearly head and shoulders above it. They just lost the Wolves. Like, they're 7 games in, and then they're not going unbeaten. Like, no one else has done it, and that does say, like, I think that the Invincibles is undervalued. Oh, they've got a lot of draws, but Man City couldn't have got a draw out of that game. Like, you know, they lost. So they're the best. They're probably a better team.
Do you not think that's because the Premier League is a much better competition nowadays than it was back in those days? Like, there's so much money and there's so much talent in each team that anyone could kind of spring a surprise.
Maybe.
I would say it's harder to win the league nowadays than was when, you know, Arsenal were fluking their way to the
Arsenal got the Invincible, did the Invincibles with 90 points, and that's been, as we discussed like last week or the week before, that's been broken numerous times. I'm just saying, I'm saying it's City, but I just think that I still think the Invincibles achievement is still, like, people dismiss it.
I don't think people dismiss it. It's a great achievement. You've gone unbeaten all season, but my point is, in a season, is to get as many points as you can. And that Invincibles team got 9th. People have finished 2nd on more points than that Invincible team got.
Yeah, do you know what? I think people obviously took more points off of each other those days, because they must have done. Because if the top team's getting 90, no one's got more than 90. All the teams are taking more points off each other. Now, I do think that the top 6, top 5, 4, whatever, just dominate. The lower teams are so far off it compared to the teams at the top. There is more.
Hold on a second. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, you was talking about how it's so much better now, the leagues. Because especially last season, I said it's shit. I said that you got 6 or 7 teams, or 3 or 4 teams, then you've got 6 teams. The rest are bollocks. And you made the argument that you think the league is better, and these teams are better now.
So when it was 2004 and Arsenal winning, I'm going Invincible, whatever. It was 2 teams. Chelsea was sort of coming up, so it was 2-3 teams max. Liverpool weren't really anywhere near it. and like the highest anyone could get was 90 points. So the teams at the bottom or the bottom half were closer to the teams at the top in terms of quality. But now I think you've got the top 6 teams or whatever, top 7 teams. There are 6 or 7 teams that are competing now, whereas before it was just 2 or 3. So there's more teams that make the league better because there's more teams that can get Champions League. There's the Champions League battle wasn't really talked about like back then, really. But now there's sort of 7 or 8 teams, but the teams below, the teams in the bottom half, are terrible. Like there's so many bad teams in this league.
I mean, Wolves literally just beat Man City 2 days ago.
Yeah, they did. But there's still so many
Man United who were in the Champions League this season. They just lost to Crystal Palace.
Man United's terrible. But
anyway,
the thing is, though, Man United aren't. Man United. I mean, Man City will still get, close to 100 points this season. That's what I mean. Not many teams will take points off them.
So the treble winning season wins that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Next one is Vincent Kompany versus Tony Adams.
Vincent Kompany. The man won trophy after trophy after trophy. I mean, he was just an absolute unit. We're talking managerial careers as well, because I feel like Tony Adams has held Vincent Kompany as well.
Terrible time. Tony Adams.
I think he's dancing in the Liga whilst he was training was one of the best things I've ever seen.
What Kompany?
No, have you seen the Tony?
Tony Adams on Strictly. Yeah,
I saw him on Strictly.
That's probably Tony Adams' greatest performances, of his career.
Get on YouTube.
It's definitely
Tony Adams training drill, and I'm sure he managed a team in the Liga, didn't he? Like Getafe or something like that. It's fucking hilarious. Hilarious. So, who are you going for, Andrew?
This is a hard one for me because Tony Adams is like Mr. Arsenal and all of that. But you know what? I never watched him play because it was before my time. Whereas Vincent Kompany, I watched most of his career. I wouldn't take into account the City team that Kompany was in did win fucking loads. But I keep saying this and people don't really understand what I mean. But I can't take it does factor into it, but I can't just look who won more trophies. They're a better player because it isn't always the case. But that being said,
the key point of winning those trophies. Do you not think? I mean, he was the captain. He was just rock solid in defence. I think he's probably one of the best bargain buys. He only cost like $6 million,
the header against Man United basically won him the league that year, didn't it? The absolute screamer against Chelsea. Was it Liverpool? Chelsea?
Was it Chelsea?
Won him the league.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, because I've not seen much of Tony Adams, I have to go with what I've seen, so I will go Vincent Kompany. But if I was a few years older, I'd probably have to give a better evaluation of that because I just haven't seen anything with Tony Adams. It was before my time.
I've seen plenty of Tony Adams play, and I would say Vincent Kompany.
Fair enough. I'd probably go Kompany myself, but I did like Tony Adams, good player. Right, next one is North London Forever or Blue Moon.
I mean, it's a bit of a, London City, isn't it? Because Arsenal obviously come from Greenwich. They kind of invaded North London. They weren't born there. So I would go Blue Moon. I mean, Blue Moon's just a much better song anyway.
Yeah, for me, it's North London Forever. As an Arsenal fan that sings the song or whatever when I'm at the stadium, and I can't, wouldn't be able to pick the other one. But you're asking for opinion on, it has to be the song.
This was a question I'm going to ask, and this is not personal to anyone because we all live in the places we don't support. As a person that is not from North London, can you sing North London Forever? I get it if you're from North London, you live there and you was born there. And that's not I'm not just saying that because you don't live in London. I don't live in Sunderland. Ben doesn't live in London.
Yeah.
And when Sunderland sing songs about Wearside, I get a bit thingy because I'm not from there. They're singing about the place they're from and they love. I'm not from there, so I normally just stay a bit quieter on them ones.
I get what you mean. I get what you're saying. It's a tough one. For me, it's it's more about, I know it's gonna sound really washy, but it's more about like the whole community side of things. Like obviously I don't go up there as much as I'd like, but when you go up there to watch the game, like it doesn't matter sort of where you're from, you all sort of talk to each other, you all get into the game. I don't know, for me it feels a bit more like the team is from here. I don't know, it's really difficult to explain. I do get what you mean though, but like there's fans that come over from like America, Canada, China, all these places that all come to the game. Like I've always had them behind me, like people that have come from abroad. They're all singing at the top of their lungs. They're not from that place, but that is where their team is. So I don't really have a problem with it, but I do get your point.
Yeah, I just find it a bit strange. Do you, Ben? Like if you're at Tottenham, do you sing of like?
I mean, we don't really have that many kind of those kind of songs. Our big one is When the Spurs Go March, you know.
But
so
what about the Yid stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's
Do you get involved in that?
I don't tend to, no, because I'm not Jewish and it feels a bit weird.
That's what I mean. It's just something I thought of the other day when I was writing these questions. Actually,
yeah, When the Spurs Go March, I mean, there's better than both of those two songs, obviously.
I'd rather go with Sunderland's Elvis, I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, but Blue Moon. No, right. So Andrew said North London Forever, didn't
you?
Yeah. Obviously, it's Blue Moon.
Blue Moon for me. It's like it's actually a great song as well.
There's no debate, really.
Next one, a few more, and we're done. Go through these a bit quicker. Piers Morgan or Ricky Hatton?
Ricky Hatton. Actually, that's a fight I would love to see. Well, that would be great. I would watch that all day long.
I would pick anyone over Piers Morgan. Like I'd pick anyone. Like I don't like Piers Morgan. I wish he wasn't. I wish he wasn't an Arsenal fan. I don't like him.
I would have picked him.
I don't. Do you know what? I don't mind his actual like what he does for a living. Like his whole. I don't actually mind any of that stuff. I just don't like his Arsenal opinions. So that's it.
I just don't like him.
London or Manchester?
It's got to be London. I was there today.
I mean, you would say London, obviously, because that's the home of the greatest football team in the world, Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, I've never been to Manchester.
I hate it.
No, it's great. It's lovely. Good place.
Cities, loads of people. It's not for me.
I love it.
I do like going to London. I hate it.
Yeah, you either love it or you hate it. It's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? Like I like all the underground and everything. Like it's even though there's loads of people, it's quite efficient getting around. Like it's you never wait anywhere too long. Like I went miles and miles today. I went North London, South London. I went everywhere, and it took me like 4 hours to just go through. Did some shopping. Like it's quite quick, even though there's loads of people. So yeah, it was all right.
I just hate a city. Stick me in the countryside, no people around. I'm happy with that. Fuck both London and Manchester. Right, next one. It is the Bergkamp goal versus Newcastle or Aguero.
I mean, that's a non-question, isn't it? It's probably one of the top moments of the Premier League history. Aguero scoring that was
that's literally it. What are you doing it on? Is it the moment or the goal? Because like the quality of the goal, Bergkamp's
the goal was the moment.
But the moment, Aguero's that's the greatest moment in Premier League history.
The moment that he scored that goal.
What's that?
The moment that he scored the goal.
Yeah, like the moment, what it meant in history. Like Aguero is like the best in history, but the quality of the goal, Bergkamp's is miles clear.
I'm agreeing with Andrew here. Probably my favourite goal of all time, scored from a non-Sunderland player.
Is it because it was against Newcastle?
Against Newcastle made it even better, but just absolutely ridiculous touch. So good.
Yeah, it was insane.
Saka or Foden?
Foden.
Ben's just like going against Arsenal every single time.
No, I wouldn't say that. I come at this podcast with an open mind, you know.
He picked London over Manchester.
Exactly.
It's Tottenham from there.
Guys. You know, I'm just balancing out, you know, a year of listening to you and Barron. I think it's about time we kind of.
I'm giving Man City some bones here as well. Like, I'm trying to be honest, like as honest as I can. Obviously, when things are like about my opinion,
be honest. Like, Foden is a better player than Saka. Foden's the second coming to Gaza, and he'll be, you know, England's star for the next few years.
This was like no, I wouldn't even say it's like the argument about working hard, but when you talk about players that have got more talent, Phil Foden has got more talent than most people have ever seen in my life. Like Phil Foden's got more talent than Bukayo Saka, 100%. But Saka has been in that Arsenal team for a good few years now. He plays every game. He starts every game for England. And I don't think that's necessarily Foden's fault, but he needs to be starting all games. He needs to be being really key in these games. For me, Saka at the minute is the better player, but Foden has more ability.
I don't know. I didn't see Foden getting absolutely turned by Maddison the other day.
Saka isn't a defender, though. I mean, I know he did play left back for a while, but it's not his job.
Definitely not at that point. No, he was not.
He was supposed to be marking Udogie. I don't know, like who was supposed to be on Maddison. I think it was probably Ben White.
Yeah, probably. But it was still fun to watch.
I'm picking on that one. Foden is just.
He's got more talent. I'm not arguing he's got more talent because he has. He's some of the things he glides with the ball, like proper glides. Like, I've not seen anything like it, like in terms of a midfielder. But I just think Saka for me, he's just been doing it consistently for much longer than what Foden has. That's because
here's a tough one. Here's a tough one. Saliba or Diaz?
Oh, that is a tough one.
I mean, it's close, but I'd probably have to say Diaz. I think he's a unit. I think that's partnership at the back is one of the reasons that City is so hard to beat.
Yeah.
Unless he Wolves.
He came in and changed it as well, didn't he? Changed City when he came in.
Yeah. No, he's class at the back.
I think at the current moment in time, I think it is just Diaz because I think Saliba has got too many mistakes in him. Like he does give the ball away sometimes, and yeah, he's good enough to recover. I think he needs to get that out of his game. He's 22, I think, Saliba. Like he will be better than Diaz. He's got higher ceiling, but
he's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time, Saliba, to join Barcelona or Real and really step up his game.
No, he's got higher ceiling, Saliba, but definitely. But for me, Diaz is like the finished article.
Right, last two, and we're done for the evening. Patrick Vieira, or Yaya Toure?
I mean, it's tough, but I think I'll probably go with Yaya Toure. I think he was a complete midfielder, but he was just box to box. He was winning games. Vieira, I feel, was more a limited player. I mean, that red mist about him where, he was always, a second away from getting himself sent off. I think Toure was just more dependable.
Yeah, before Andrew makes his defence for Vieira, Yaya Toure was absolutely unbelievable football player. I wish he was great. In the Premier League longer. He was like, when you actually think about it, it would be hard not to put him in the top 5 centre midfielders I've ever seen. Like from my generation, my era, it would be hard not to put him in. Because he was that good. Could do absolutely everything. Scored stunner after stunner. Controlled games, could defend, could attack. Everything.
I think he would get in this City side at the moment with, Rodri and De Bruyne and yeah.
Imagine Rodri, De Bruyne and Toure. It's game over for everyone. There's no point playing football anymore. With Haaland up front, Foden, Alvarez. Just stop playing football at that point.
Yaya Toure was unbelievable. Like I do agree, he was unbelievable, but I don't think it's better than Vieira. The what I've been thinking about, right?
Seems a little bit high.
My defense for this is right. Is that they both played in two different sort of eras, and when Vieira was playing, your midfielders didn't really get up. I mean, Yaya Toure did a lot because that's what the role sort of required from them at that point in time. A bit like people moan about Gary Neville saying, but Gary, when Gary Neville was playing right back, that's all you did. You defended. That was it. That was your job. And I just think that players that played sort of before 2010, like in the sort of the noughties, they just didn't have all that extra responsibility. That their job was to Vieira's job was to screen and to literally break up play. That was it. There was no box to box really. It just wasn't really a thing. I think that Yaya Toure was unbelievable, but for me, Vieira.
So what you're saying is Vieira wouldn't be able to cut it in modern football?
He was never asked to. You can't say he couldn't because he was never said, right. They never said to him, right, Patrick, your job this game, you need to get up and down, you need to do it, because they were never asked to do that. They never needed to do that. So I wouldn't say he couldn't cut it in modern football. You just never got a chance to see it. Just never got a chance to see it.
But you could just say that's because he was a bit limited as a football player.
Yeah, I'd agree on that point.
But how many midfielders in that time?
Back, did you ever see Roy Keane when he was younger? Box to box for Forest, absolute box to box, quick as fuck. Roy Keane was so good when he was younger, but he was like that. He was literally box to box, and then not Robert Perez. Who's the other fella? Emmanuel Petit. Done both.
Yeah,
he played in the same team.
He was playing with Vieira, wasn't he? Petit,
but could also come back and do that. He was more of a.
But they couldn't both do it, could they, at the same time?
Yeah, I think he was a good player when he signed in Barcelona.
Yeah, so why didn't Vieira do it? If Petit could, maybe he was limited at what he could do.
Maybe. I don't know. We never, it could be that Wenger didn't get him to do it because he couldn't do it, but we don't know, I suppose. For me, it's just I'm gonna have to say Vieira. Vieira was what I grew up with. For me, he was just unbelievable. Yeah.
And the very last question is Sunday, Arsenal or City? Might as well chuck a score prediction in there as well.
I see a big City bounce back. I see them kind of getting a few. I would say probably, Haaland hat-trick we're looking at. Probably. I'm going to go 5-1 City.
5-1.
Yeah, if we lose 5-1 at the Emirates. Now, you know what? I want to say I think we beat them. I said this about Spurs as well. Have to go in confident. I think the fact that we're playing Tuesday and they're playing Wednesday gives us an extra day. It's another little advantage to go with the fact that obviously Rodri being out, De Bruyne being out. I know we've got some injuries as well, but I think City have been hit worse. We're at home. As I said earlier, if we don't win this, if we can't beat City in this at this point with the team they've got, I don't know when we're going to beat them. So I'm going to go Arsenal. I'm going to go with 2-1.
I will go with City didn't look good the other day. They looked very slow, but I don't think Arsenal have looked brilliant at all this season. Not like they did last year.
No, we haven't.
I'll go 2-1. 2-1 City. Sorry, 2-1 City. It'll be closer than 5-1, I think. I think that's wishful thinking on Ben's part.
Yeah, I think having
it's a fair assumption on my part, I'd say.
I think having Declan Rice in the team just makes us so much more solid than last season. I think that does make the difference. I don't think they're going to be cutting through it. Like last season when we played them, they were literally just De Bruyne just walked through midfield. He literally walked through and scored that first goal. I can't see that. I mean, I know we weren't playing, but I can't see anyone doing that with Declan Rice in the midfield.
I don't know. I mean, I see Arteta as a very much a Kevin Keegan kind of manager, and as soon as the pressure comes on, he just kind of folds up, and I just see Arsenal crumbling against a much better side. Coming from a completely impartial observer, obviously.
I will say about Arteta, he's so opposite to Ange because he's so unlikable. That bloke.
Yeah, he is. He is unlikable.
He's such a dick. He just comes across as a bit of a knob. Stay on your touchline and do what you're told. You fucking greasy head little prick.
Yeah. I do think that he needs to. I think that he does have. I think Ben is, he's not being impartial at all. But I do think something of what he said does make sense. With Pep, when it comes to Pep, I feel like he feels the need to go out and out tactic him, and he overthinks it, and he does too much, and he gets it wrong. I don't feel like he does it with other managers. Sometimes he gets things wrong, but so does everyone. But I think every time
I'm pretty sure Arteta believes he's Pep. I think he thinks he's Pep Guardiola the second.
Well, he kind of learned everything he knows from Pep, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm telling you. 10 years' time, when that greasy Barnet's gone, he's going to be bald in a scarf.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Hopefully managing in the Championship. Still at Arsenal.
Right, and that is all we've got time for.
Yes, actually, a long show tonight.
Yeah, no, you did waffle on a bit there, Hughes, about Arsenal.
I was attacked this episode. Like I was attacked. I want Barron back. Like, where's Barron at? Leave my back up.
Calculated assault on Arsenal this week.
I think it's nice to bring a bit of balance to this podcast. It's been heavily Arsenal-led for the last kind of year, so it's nice to have some impartial observers coming in and talking about Arsenal, in a fair and precise manner. I'm sure Barron will very much have enjoyed this podcast.
Barron will not enjoy this episode.
Right.
What have we got coming up this week? I'm doing my FPL show on Wednesday, 7 p.m. So come join us for that. Billy, when is your show this week?
Me and Tom are on Thursday, 8:30.
Half eight Thursday.
I'm going to go for our top 5 English players, which is so fucking hard. I've just gone for my favourites, to be honest. Instead of who I think's the best. It was well hard. And a big thanks for Ben for popping on.
Yeah.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Please don't come back.
I'll happily come on anytime you guys need to talk about Arsenal or a better side.
We'll get him on with Barron next time.
Yeah. Next time Arsenal are playing Spurs, let's have a little chat.
Yeah.
Should have got you on last week, really. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
I
think I was washing my hair or something.
Right, that's it then. Who wants to do? Cool. You want to do it, Andrew?
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. We really enjoyed doing this episode. Thanks again to Ben for coming along, and we'll be back tomorrow for the FPL show, and the full episode will be back next week, 8 p.m. on Monday. See you all soon.
Yeah. Football beast, this the Football Beast Extra Podcast. Hey, Football Beast Extra Podcast. Playing soccer, grab your keys. Playing soccer, time to meet. Playing soccer, time to greet. They been to talk a lot, okay? Playing soccer, get the cleats. Playing soccer, let's get it. Playing soccer, let's go. Football Podcast.